Hello, and thank you for being here. In a time where announcements move faster than understanding, the release of a new AI model can feel overwhelming. Headlines promise intelligence, disruption, and transformation, often without pausing to explain what has actually changed. If you have ever felt curious yet uncertain, excited yet cautious, you are not alone. This video is created precisely for that space of thoughtful inquiry. Today, we are not here to chase trends, nor to glorify technology. Instead, we will gently unpack what a new AI model release truly means, beyond marketing language and surface-level claims. This is an invitation to slow down, to replace noise with clarity, and to understand AI not as magic, but as a human-made system shaped by choices, data, and intention. As a seeker, your role is not merely to consume information, but to interpret it wisely. Artificial intelligence, at its best, is a mirror. It reflects our knowledge, our assumptions, and sometimes even our blind spots. Understanding a new model release is less about memorizing features and more about asking better questions. What has improved? What remains limited? And how does this affect the way we think, create, and decide? Throughout this video, I will guide you step by step, using simple language without oversimplifying truth. You do not need a technical background to follow along, only curiosity and openness. Together, we will explore what has changed, why it matters, and how to approach these developments with confidence rather than confusion. Let us begin this journey not as spectators of technology, but as informed participants, calm, aware, and grounded in understanding. What does a new AI model release really mean? When we hear the phrase, a new AI model has been released, it is natural to imagine something entirely new coming into existence, almost as if intelligence itself has taken a sudden leap forward. In reality, the truth is quieter, more methodical, and far more human. A new AI model release does not mean that a machine has begun to think independently or understand the world as a human does. Instead, it signals that an existing approach to artificial intelligence has been refined, expanded, and corrected. At its foundation, an AI model is a mathematical system trained to recognize patterns and make predictions, nothing more and nothing less. What changes with a new release is usually the quality of learning. Engineers may have exposed the model to broader data, improved how it weighs probabilities, or adjusted how it responds to uncertainty. Sometimes the structure of the model, the way its internal layers communicate, has been optimized to reduce errors or increase stability. Other times, the improvement lies in how well the model follows human instructions or avoids misleading outputs. As described in Artificial Intelligence, a modern approach, artificial intelligence is best understood as a system designed to act rationally under constraints, not as an artificial mind. A new release simply represents a better balance between accuracy, efficiency, and alignment with human goals. For a seeker, this distinction is important. Progress in AI is not sudden enlightenment, it is disciplined iteration. Each new model stands on the shoulders of its predecessors, carrying forward what worked and correcting what did not. Understanding this helps us replace awe or fear with perspective. A new AI model release is not a moment of arrival. It is a step along a long, deliberate path of refinement. What has actually improved in new AI models? When a new AI model is released, the improvements are often described with impressive but vague phrases: smarter, faster, more powerful. As seekers, it is helpful to pause and ask a more grounded question: what has truly changed beneath the surface? In most cases, improvements in modern AI models are not singular breakthroughs, but layered refinements across multiple dimensions. One of the most noticeable changes is reasoning depth. Newer models are better at following multi-step logic, holding intermediate conclusions, and avoiding contradictions. This does not mean they understand, in a human sense, but that their internal prediction mechanisms have become more coherent. Another major advancement is context handling. New models can process longer conversations, documents, or instructions without losing track of earlier information. For users, this translates into fewer repetitions, better continuity, and responses that feel more attentive and structured. Instruction following has also improved significantly. Modern models are trained not just to generate plausible text, but to prioritize user intent. This refinement allows them to respond more precisely, respectfully, and within defined boundaries. Behind these visible gains are quieter improvements in efficiency and safety. Models are optimized to deliver better results with fewer computational resources, and guardrails are strengthened to reduce harmful or misleading outputs. These changes may be less exciting to announce, but they are among the most important. As discussed in deep learning, progress in AI often comes from better representations and optimization rather than entirely new ideas. Growth is cumulative. For the seeker, the key insight is this: new AI models improve by failing less often, not by becoming infallible. Recognizing this allows us to use them with confidence, discernment, and realistic expectations. How is this model different from the previous one? When comparing a newly released AI model to its predecessor, the most common question is often, is it smarter? While understandable, this question can be misleading. A more useful inquiry, especially for a seeker, is, in what ways does this model behave more reliably than before? The difference between AI model generations is rarely dramatic at first glance. You may not notice an instant transformation in every interaction. Instead, the distinction emerges through consistency. Newer models tend to make fewer logical jumps, contradict themselves less often, and recover more gracefully when faced with ambiguity. These improvements are subtle, but over time they significantly enhance trust and usability. Another key difference lies in how models handle uncertainty. Earlier versions might respond confidently even when unsure, producing answers that sound correct but are not. Newer models are increasingly trained to acknowledge limits, ask clarifying questions, or present multiple possibilities rather than a single absolute claim. This shift marks a meaningful step toward responsible assistance. You may also observe improved adaptability across domains. Whether the task involves writing, analysis, planning, or explanation, newer models are better at transferring learned patterns from one context to another. This ability to generalize, rather than specialize narrowly, is one of the quiet strengths of modern releases. As outlined in Prediction Machines, the real economic and practical value of AI comes from reducing uncertainty in decision-making. Each new model improves this function incrementally, lowering the cost of prediction while increasing its usefulness. For the seeker, the takeaway is simple yet important: the difference between models is not brilliance, but dependability. Progress in AI is measured not by perfection, but by fewer failures and moments that matter. What this means for creators, professionals, and learners. Once we understand how new AI models improve and how they differ from earlier versions, a natural question arises: what does this mean for people who actually use these tools in their daily lives? For creators, professionals, and learners, the impact is practical rather than theoretical. For creators, newer AI models function less as content generators and more as collaborative partners. Writers can explore ideas more fluidly, designers can iterate concepts faster, and researchers can organize complex information with greater ease. The improvement lies not in replacing creativity, but in reducing friction, the pauses, blocks, and repetitive tasks that interrupt creative flow. Professionals, particularly those working in analysis, planning, or communication, benefit from increased reliability. Newer models summarize information more coherently, assist with structured thinking, and adapt better to domain-specific language. This makes them valuable as decision support tools, not decision-makers. The human remains accountable. The AI simply sharpens perspective. For learners, this shift is perhaps most profound. Modern AI models can adapt explanations to different levels of understanding, revisit concepts patiently, and approach the same topic from multiple angles. This creates a more personalized learning experience, one that responds to curiosity rather than enforcing a rigid path. Yet, it is important to remain grounded. As humorously and insightfully illustrated in You Look Like a Thing and I Love You, AI systems still make surprising and sometimes absurd mistakes. Their confidence can exceed their accuracy. For the seeker, the lesson is balance. A new AI model is a powerful assistant, but not an authority. Those who benefit most are not the ones who surrender thinking, but those who use AI to think better, with awareness, judgment, and intention. Ethical, social, and human considerations. As AI models grow more capable with each new release, it becomes increasingly important to look beyond performance and ask deeper questions. Progress in artificial intelligence is not purely technical, it is inherently ethical and social. Every improvement carries consequences that extend well beyond the system itself. At the heart of these considerations lies a simple truth: AI models do not exist in isolation. They are trained on human-created data, shaped by human-defined objectives, and deployed within human systems of power, economy, and culture. This means that biases, assumptions, and values, often unintentional, can be reflected and amplified through their outputs. One concern frequently raised is the concentration of influence. As AI systems become more capable, the organizations that design and control them gain significant leverage over information, productivity, and decision-making. This raises important questions about transparency, accountability, and access. Who decides how these models behave, and who benefits most from their deployment? Another consideration is displacement and dependency. While AI can augment human capability, it can also reduce opportunities if adopted without care. Over-reliance on automated systems may erode critical thinking, while unequal access may widen existing social gaps. These concerns are thoughtfully explored in Life 3.0, which emphasizes that the future of intelligence is less about what machines can do, and more about the choices humanity makes in guiding them. Technology itself is neutral, its impact is shaped by governance, incentives, and values. For the seeker, ethical awareness is not a burden, it is a form of responsibility. Engaging with new AI models thoughtfully means questioning outcomes, understanding limitations, and remaining attentive to human dignity. In doing so, we ensure that progress serves collective well-being rather than narrow interests. How should a seeker approach new AI models? After understanding what a new AI model release truly means, what has improved, and what ethical considerations surround it, the final question is deeply personal. How should you, as a seeker, engage with these tools? The answer lies not in enthusiasm or resistance, but in intentional use. The first principle is curiosity without surrender. Approach new AI models with an open mind, explore their capabilities, and test their limits. Ask not only what the model can do, but how it arrives at its conclusions. Treat its responses as starting points for thought, not final answers. Curiosity keeps you engaged. Discernment keeps you grounded. The second principle is collaboration over delegation. AI models are most effective when used as partners in thinking rather than substitutes for it. Whether you are writing, learning, or planning, allow the model to support your process, but retain ownership of judgment, creativity, and decision-making. The value lies in amplification, not replacement. The third principle is awareness of limitations. Even the most advanced models remain probabilistic systems. They can be persuasive without being correct, fluent without being factual. Recognizing this protects you from misplaced trust and encourages healthy verification. These ideas align closely with the message of Human Compatible, which emphasizes that beneficial AI depends on maintaining human control and clear intent. The goal is not autonomy for machines, but alignment with human values. For the seeker, a new AI model is not a destination, it is a tool along the path. Used wisely, it can sharpen understanding, expand perspective, and reduce unnecessary effort. Used blindly, it can obscure judgment. The difference lies in how consciously you choose to engage. As we come to the end of this exploration, it is worth pausing, not to summarize features or forecasts, but to reflect on what this journey truly represents. A new AI model release, when viewed clearly, is not a moment of arrival. It is a moment of adjustment, a subtle shift in how humanity continues to build tools that extend thought, memory, and possibility. Throughout this discussion, we have moved deliberately away from urgency and spectacle. That choice is intentional. Technology often invites speed, but understanding requires patience. When approached thoughtfully, AI reveals itself not as a force that replaces human value, but as one that exposes it. It highlights our priorities, our assumptions, and the care, or lack of it, with which we design systems that influence lives. For seekers, the most important realization is this: progress does not demand surrender. You are not required to accept every advancement uncritically, nor to reject it out of fear. The wiser path lies between those extremes, in awareness, balance, and intention. AI grows more capable, but responsibility remains human. If there is one quiet truth to carry forward, it is that tools shape outcomes only to the extent that values guide their use. A model can assist thinking, but it cannot define meaning. It can accelerate work, but it cannot decide purpose. Those choices remain firmly in human hands. As you move forward, whether as a creator, professional, learner, or simply a curious observer, approach new AI models not as answers, but as instruments. Question them. Test them. Use them where they serve you, and step back where they do not. Thank you for taking this time to seek understanding rather than reaction. If this reflection has brought clarity, then it has served its purpose. Until our next conversation, continue forward calmly, thoughtfully, and with intent. If you like this video, please do subscribe and the bell icon.